are you, Andrea?
I'm good, thank you. This is the first time ever in Meta.
First time ever on what?
On assisting on these meetings.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Yeah. Oh, well, welcome. We will, it will be, hopefully it will be very interesting to you. And so you're in the Ladies Finance Club, are you?
Yeah, well, actually, lately I've been reading some books because I decide I'm 29. Hopefully, it's not too late.
No, it's not too late.
I decided that I want to be financially free. I got like I have savings, but they're in the bank there.
Yeah, so yeah.
I want to learn how to invest. I want to know how to manage my money. So that's why I'm like looking for different resources.
Okay, well, this is the right place to manage your money because that's the base foundation. Before you start investing or doing anything, you have to have the basics in order and the foundations. And if you're in the membership of the Ladies Finance Club, you'll find in the foundation lessons, there's a webinar that I did. I did a master class with Molly, and it's on Protect Your Money from You. And it talks about effective bank structure because that's where it kind of starts, is the way you structure your money in your banks, as well as what system you use. So we'll be talking about that. Welcome, Anna.
Hi, how you going, Sherry?
Good. So I take it you've seen my masterclass?
Yes, I did. I'm a pink member at Ladies Finance Club, and your masterclass was one of the first ones I watched, actually.
Okay.
I became a member in, I think, September last year. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so we'll just wait a few minutes for others to come. It's going to just doing a last minute touches. I've been full on today. It's been luckily I have a little air conditioner here that keeps my room quite comfortable. What time is it? 6. Okay, I can't find it. Anyway, okay, so just tell me before we start, where are you from, Anna?
I'm in Melbourne.
Okay, excellent. And Andrea?
I'm in Melbourne, but I'm from Colombia. I've been here for 5 years, though.
Oh, have you? Okay. Oh, very good. Yeah, my son-in-law is from Mexico, and so they have 4 children. And I have a really good friend that I met with online university from Paraguay.
Paraguay?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's wanting to come out here.
Nice.
So 5 years, so that's good. So is your family still back in Colombia?
No, actually, my sister is here. My family is here. Like my parents are here as well. They are going back to Colombia for a few time, but then they are gonna come back.
Oh, okay. Oh, very good. Yeah, I've been here in Australia for almost 34 years. Well, 34 years. Yeah, it was actually 34 years a few days ago. So it might still sound like I'm from over there, but I've been here a lot longer than I've been over there.
Where are you from?
I was born in Las Vegas, and then I grew up in San Diego. And then, yeah, I met my Aussie husband over in England while traveling and working. So I've been in Brisbane since 1989. Welcome, Corey and Sam.
Hello.
Sam, do you have a camera by chance? Oh, wait. Oh, okay. And the other Sherry is my V. Do you want to turn your camera on? Oh, no, yes. So this is my VA, V. He's in the Philippines, so he's playing my second personality. So he'll just be sitting in the background. And welcome, Monique. And where are you from, Monique?
Hi. Originally, I'm from New Zealand, actually, but I've lived in Sydney for nearly 12 years now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. And just by raise of hands, who's in the Lady Finance Club?
Yeah.
All of you? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And Corey, where are you calling in from?
Sydney.
In Sydney. Okay. So I'm the person right here. And Sam, where are you calling in from? Okay, he might still be occupied. So what we'll do is we'll just continue, because I actually run an 8-week course to help people create and start living a spending plan. And so tonight is my third workshop out of the 8. And so, I mean, and it's one that we're actually talking about calling your providers to get a better deal, trying to get your essential costs as low as possible, as well as talking about debt. And so you're more than welcome to join me on if you want to stay on afterwards, but we'll have to get moving now just so I can get through and answer some of your questions. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or put them in the chat. In fact, just unmute yourself and say, hey, and I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay. So this is a webinar that I do twice a week. So I do it on a Tuesday at 12:30. In fact, we just started yesterday. We had taken a break over the Christmas, New Year's break. So now normality is getting back. And so we do it at 12:30, which would be 1:30 Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne time. And then 7 p.m. Wednesday night, Sydney, Melbourne, until the times change. And so this is one that I've done repeatedly because it's a topic that is new, and you'll learn lots of things tonight. Okay, so I'm just going to, are you seeing happy spenders? If you can just give me a thumbs up. Okay, excellent. So I am Sherri Dumbrell. I'm a happy spender. And these are some other happy spenders that I have made turn from spenders to happy spenders. And what a happy spender is, it's one who is a genuine happy spender while they're spending, after they spend, a week after they spend, they are still happy because they don't have any spending regrets, because they plan their spending, they save for their spending before they spend. Okay, so that's what I am, is a happy spender. And feel free to go and join my Facebook group if you haven't. So it's called Happy Spenders Beyond Budgeting. Okay, so you'll learn as I go through it what the difference is between a budget and a spending plan, but a spending plan goes beyond budgeting, yet simpler. And so that's just happy spenders, and V will put that in the chat box. So you can just go directly to that. It will ask you if you want a welcome gift, and I recommend that. It's just, I have an online course, and you get access to the first few modules, which will be a great review for tonight of what the difference between a budget and a spending plan and the benefits. So I'm a certified spending planner. I've been one for 5 years. And what that is you've heard of financial planners, financial advisors. Okay, they're on the far right when you have excess savings and you want to invest. Then there's financial counselors who are on the far left, and that is you go to them usually when you're really heavy in debt and maybe close to bankruptcy. Then there was this whole gap in the center, which was for the majority of us. You know, most people live in the center, yet in the finance industry, there was really no one for them. There's Barefoot Investor book. There's lots of information you can search on and find about budgeting, but there's just so much information out there. So a spending planner is someone that will actually help you and hold your hand to actually create a spending plan and to help you with your day-to-day finances, because it's your day-to-day finances that will determine whether you go to a financial counselor because you mismanage them or whether you get to a financial planner now or in the future. So that's what I am. I help people. I specialize in their day-to-day finances. Okay, I'll just move this over for a second. Nobody has money problems on purpose. And I want to tell you that if you struggle with money and get frustrated with budgeting, it's not your fault. Okay, I say that straight off because you simply don't know what you don't know. And if budgets worked, we would all be financially free. But as you can see, as we go through, there's some vital information that it lacks that we will talk about. So we can easily, especially using a budget, overcommit and not realize we're actually doing it. And so tonight you're going to learn something that you didn't know that will give you some things to think about. So we were not taught about money in school. And so that is a big problem. And then your parents, again, they weren't taught in school. Now, some people, maybe 40% of the population, they study and search about money like you guys are tonight. And so the chances of you guys being good with money is so much higher than anybody who it doesn't. But it's not something that you're taught at school. So you have to do your homework and learn about financial literacy. So that's what I do first. First, I am a teach you financial literacy. And then second is I have a proven tool that I personally have used for 19 years when I stopped budgeting back then. That is just, it's literally dramatically life-changing financially. And it's a foundation. And so I just love to tell everybody about it. Okay, so we hear a lot about money mindset. And, you know, we create our mindsets even at an early age. For example, we moved down to San Diego, California when I was 5, moved into this neighborhood. And my friend, they had a pool in their backyard and we didn't. And so in my little 5-year-old mind, I thought, wow, they must be rich. So if they're rich and I don't have a pool, then we must be poor. And that is how I thought as a little kid. And it's amazing all those little ways we think about money and labels we put on ourselves as we are growing up. And they're not true, but we can even carry them into our adulthood. So we have these mindsets that you've had. Even, you know, I say to people, think about your first memory of money. You know, I mean, for me, it was I was given some money and for my birthday and I could go and buy a record. And I had to choose between Elton John, which was way back then, and The Sound of Music. And I chose The Sound of Music. But I was so excited to spend that money, but I knew I didn't get it very often, so I had to make the right choice. So our mindset does control the way we think. But one thing that I have learned as I have worked with people over the last 5 years is knowing your money truth will change your mindset faster than anything will. You know, there's so many mindset courses out there and people who help you with your mindset. But if you can see your financial truth right in front of you in perfect clarity, that's going to change the way you think. You can never be ignorant again and go back and think, okay, I didn't realize I couldn't afford this, or I'm overspending. So that is going to change your mindset. And what also changes your mindset is to have a goal. You have to have a goal why you want to be better, because that is going to be the constant thing that's going to help you change that mindset. So I always say you have to have a goal. And before 2020 hit, most of the people that I talked to, they wanted to go on an overseas trip, and most of them did. And so you have to have a good reason. And it could just be that you're in debt and you hate the anxiety and stress about it and you want to get out of debt. You want to not have that. That's a good enough reason too. So tonight I'm going to show you a way that you can know your money truth. Okay, and so once you know your money truth, then you have to be honest. You have a choice. Am I going to listen to this truth? And when I say a truth, it's not debatable. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, you know, and we see it on social media, all the very opinions, but in some things there is a truth. And whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. It still is true. So with money, there are money truths, and 1 + 1 will always be 2. Now, of course, when you're thinking of investing, that takes it a different thing, but it still is $1 + $1 will always be add up to $2. So you have to know the money truth, and then you have to believe it. And be honest with yourself about your personal money truth. Be honest with your spouse or partner. Be honest with your children. Actually talk to your children about money so that they don't think that money grows on trees, because if you're not, then they're going to grow up and expect, and have that in self-entitlement, which it is our role as a parent. Every child in Australia will become a money manager. But the only choice is with the parents, whether their child becomes a good money manager or a bad money manager. So I'm really also passionate that you need to teach. Once you learn it, teach your children or teach others to become better, so that they can have because remember, they're not being taught it in school. So honesty after you know your money truth. So the main truth that I want to tell you, which comes to a shock to some, is save first, spend second. Now, I just saw something again just online, spend and save. And that's a lie, okay? I don't work for any bank. I don't work for anyone. I own my own company. And I tell you the truth because there is a truth out there. And we need to save before we spend. Just because a company or Afterpay lets you do it doesn't mean it's right. Okay, it doesn't mean it's honest, because technically, if you think about it, if you brought something home and you hadn't paid for it, that could be classed as stealing. You went into a shop, walked out, and you hadn't actually paid for it. Just because the shop allows you to do it doesn't make it right. So, and that's where people get into trouble and they overcommit, is because companies, they don't qualify you whether you can do an Afterpay. They don't really care as long as they get their money. They say, you deserve it. You deserve it, but look at how many fingers are coming back to them. So we need to know how it works. You need to be the owner of your money, because everyone else wants to take it, and you need to be in control of it. So debt, to live debt-free is so easy and possible. And once you have that mindset that I just have to save before I spend, there's no question. We have had a mortgage, but we have lived for 34 years without any right debt. Okay, so it is a choice. So we need to get our head out of the sand, okay? We can all be like the Sashers, put our head in the sand and not really be honest with our spending and just kind of hand that card over. We can not realize really how much our life costs And if I were to ask each of you, how much does your life cost, your basic cost? If you lost your job, what are the expenses you have to pay? Most people wouldn't know. And so we need to know those things so that we are prepared for the unexpected, because as we found in 2020, the unexpected does happen. Okay, it's not if it happens, it's when it happens, and we need to be prepared for that. So living within your means, what does means mean? It's not, oh, I get this much money and I spend that much money. Okay, that's not living within your means, because there's more to living within your means than just spending it. We have to have certain things we have to save for so that we can have that financial peace. So I teach financial self-reliance. Okay, that's the ability of a person to endure pain, whether it's losing a job for a month or anything, without having to rely on their employer to go and give an advance or a government to pay for that. So we can all be self-reliant. If we were all self-reliant in 2020, our government would be in so much less debt. But it wasn't just that the families were unprepared and not self-reliant, companies were not either. So they were bailing out two groups of people, okay, or people twice. So I am financially self-reliant. Does not mean I don't work. What that means is I can pay my own bills. I do not rely on the government to do any of that. When we had started our children in that first child, we were going to get that child endowment or that Centerlink. We decided, my husband and I, that we were not going to count on that money, because 34 years ago, we thought, what if the government crashes? Now it hasn't, but still we wanted to be self-reliant on his wage and not reliant on anybody else's. So that money was extra, which we actually used just to go on holidays. And we actually funded a holiday trip to the US for 7 of us with that money. Okay, because it didn't have to go to pay for everything else. So I talk a lot about needs, knowing what your needs are, what your basic needs. And we are so blessed to live in a wonderful country, but we don't realize what a need is as opposed to a want. You go to the Middle East or you go to third world countries and you quickly learn what a need is. And what we are so wealthy, yet we feel so poor. So knowing what your basic needs are, and then you have to know what your really wants are. What do you really want in life? What are your goals? What are your dreams? Because if you don't have your dreams and keep your needs as low as possible, which is what I'm talking about in my course tonight, which you're welcome to attend, is you're going to waste a lot of money on your wants. What you think you want, it's the impulsive here, now kind of spending. And we can waste 30 easy. And I see it with people, they can easily spend 30,000, 40,000 a year just on things. And then at the end of the year, they think, wow. And they're struggling to pay their bills and they don't get any fun. And so we have to have a priority: needs, really wants, and then what you think you want. So lifestyle, there's 2 types of costs in our life. The life cost, that's our basics, bare bottom. We have to pay for that. So we need to make sure that we take care of that first before we start thinking what kind of style of life we have. Unfortunately, and especially, and I was one too, when you're single, you leave high school and you're single, you can create a high style life. And then you find that perfect man or that perfect partner, and you realize, oh, okay, we have a mortgage now. Oh, we have some kids coming along. You cannot maintain that style. And so it's always good, instead of getting into a habit of this grand style of life, use that money and get your first home. You don't need to, and think about your future financially, because all the stuff we buy loses value as soon as you buy it. Okay, but if you invest in a home, then that is only going to increase. We bought a home, investment home 6 or 10 years ago. It has now doubled. It was worth, we bought it for $329. It is now worth about $650, $700. That's just in 10 years. Okay, so yeah, there's your life cost, but I go a lot further than just your basic food, shelter. You have to have a rainy day account or money for the unexpected. You have to have money to replace things that you need. You need a fridge, you need a washing machine, you need a car. Doesn't mean you need the newest car, but you need those things to sustain your life. Okay. And then we also have to think about retirement, because you need to get those things in order first before you decide what kind of style life you have. Because if you go straight to the style, I guarantee that you will struggle paying your life costs because you're doing it in the wrong order. Okay, this is a money truth. You have to take care of the basic essential needs first before you decide what size home, what size car, what brand car, how many times you go on holiday, how many times you go to the shop and just buy. And so first things first, and then your style. So this is my young family. This is in 2003, my husband, Greg, and my 5 children. My oldest now is 30. My youngest is 20. And we went on our trip to America. And at that point I was budgeting. And basically what funded our thing was our Centerlink payment. We saved that for 9 months because I had 5 children. I was a stay-at-home mom for 27 years. My husband just had a moderate income. And so we just basically saved that money for 9 months because with 5 kids, I was getting like $1,200 a month. So the more kids you have, the more the government gives you. And again, we didn't live on that. We didn't expect it. So that was just a bonus. So we went and I thought, wow, that was a fun trip. We had such a great time. We went for a whole month and had a good time. At that point, again, I was doing a budget and I thought there has to be a better way. Yes, I was generally paying my bills. I put money aside each week. I did the calculation, 52 weeks divided by, and got that figure of how much I needed to put away in a bill account for my bills. But it's still many months it came out. And when bills came, I didn't have enough. And I couldn't figure why a budget wasn't telling me that. And so that's when I went in search and found the spending plan system. That was in 2003. We get what we desire. Now, this photo below is my family grown up. That was exact 2 years ago, right before COVID. It was Christmas 2019. We had no idea what was coming around the corner. We were just glad afterwards that we all got there and back. All my kids have spending plans, and that trip was total cash, and everyone actually came back with money because we always save more than what we think we need in case there's emergencies. So that's when I stopped budgeting. So this is just a little analogy of what kind of the difference between the relationship of a budget and a spending plan. So say we're going on a trip and we want to go to those mountains and we want to go skiing. Okay, we have 2 things to look at. We have the rear view mirror and we have the windscreen. What would happen if you looked in the rear view mirror the whole time? What would happen when you got to that first corner? You're going to crash because you're focusing in the past and not focusing on your destination or your why and making a plan and going forward for that. So the rear view mirror is like a budget. Yes, we have to look back, but only quickly to see how we did. We don't need to track our spending. We don't need to, because I used to do that. And did it get me anywhere? No, it maybe paid my bills currently, but the future was so unclear to me. And so, yes, I look back in my spending plan, but it's only very quickly. I'm talking maybe a couple minutes. I'm looking because I've already planned where I'm planning my spending. I'm just looking to say, did I do it or not? Did I follow it? And that's it. I've never heard anyone say, I should have spent more money last year. So tracking your money you know that it's always going to result in, I want to do better next year. So why not focus your time? And it's precious. We live busy lives. Focus your time when you're thinking about your money, planning your spending in the future. Okay, and so that's what the spending plan is. It's nothing about the past is gone. We do a quick look, and then we plan all about the future. So budgeting is broken. A traditional budget compares income and expenses and shows you that it's possible to pay your bills. Okay. But it doesn't show you how to pay your bills. And that is the dramatic difference. It's saying it's possible to pay your bills, but it's lacking a vital dimension, a vital information that prevents it from showing you how to pay your bills. Okay, it's saying, hey, you make $70,000 a year and your bills come to 65. Yep, you're fine. It's possible for you to pay your bills, but it's not that easy. And if it was that easy, no one would have really financial problems. So a budget is basically useless. Yes, it can take you so far, and that's why I call my Facebook group Happy Spenders Beyond Budgeting. Because yes, you do have the income and expenses, but it stops there. Where a spending plan adds in timing. It adds in that vital missing link that a budget does not have. A budget, income, subtract expenses, and then until you get to a zero. And so again, it tells you it's possible to pay your bills. So a spending plan is income and expenses, but I teach people focus more on your expenses than your income. Because as we found in 2020, your expenses are always consistent. You will always have to pay your bills. But unfortunately, your income is not always guaranteed, as COVID showed us. So we need to really focus on all our outgoing expenses and get them as low as possible and not have all these mini payments, so that if something does happen, you can still pay your life costs. So a spending plan adds in that third dimension of timing. So expenses, then we put in income, because I've worked with people, had a couple, they were both airline pilots of Tiger, which is one of the cheaper airlines. They made a lot of money a month. Yet when COVID hit, they went down to $1,500 a fortnight. And they had so much debt because they thought, we are rich, we can spend lots of money. And they were trying to keep up probably with their colleagues who had this grand lifestyle. Yet they were very poor, even though they had a great income. Yet I've worked with pensioners who are so much more well off than they are, because they had a plan. Okay. Any questions so far or comments? And you can just unmute yourself. No? Okay. A spending plan is like having a crystal ball of your future finances. It's like having seen into the future, hence why my company, my business is Essential Spending Planner. One, because I wanted ESP, because it's actually seen into the future, but also it is essential for you to plan your money. If you don't, then you're going to be caught up in guessing and that it's just possible. So seeing your future spending shows you your perfect spending year. And then it's like a GPS, and it shows you every step and every turn to do. And so you can follow it and you are guaranteed that it will work. So it's about time. Literally, a spending plan is about time. That's what makes it different from a budget. A budget just says it's just possible to pay your bills. It's guessing. And due to that guessing, people live with a lot of financial anxiety, even though they have it down on the paper, because that's not a live thing. They still carry that anxiety and stress with them. But with the spending plan, you don't have to. You have 100% clarity. It shows you your 100% money truth. So you know, then of course you have to be honest and follow that. So, but you know that you can cover all your expenses. You know whether you can buy a new car this year or next year. It will tell you. You have financial peace. Okay, I like the word financial peace. I know financial freedom's used a lot. Financial freedom to me, when I think about that, is I don't have to work. I just have lots of money, where even, I don't work because I need the money. My husband provides me fine. I do it because I love what I do. And so to me, financial peace is living your life and doing the things you love and not having to stress over money. Also, a spending plan can make your dreams come true. As we get older, when you're young, you have these dreams of what you want to be and what you want to do as your life. And then as we get older and as the years go on, we tend to surrender or bury those dreams because we realize it's not going to happen. With the spending plan, you can resurrect or unbury those dreams and bring them back to life, because a plan will help you get it. It will tell you when you can get it. And it's not going to be tomorrow. But it will tell you when you can get it. So a spending plan is a cash flow system for your personal finances. Now, if you work in a company or something, they kind of have a cash flow system, but no one's had it for their personal finances. Yet that is the basis of society, is everyone's personal. So a cash flow means is you see how it's all going to work in the future. Okay, so there are 6 ways we spend our money. There are 6 types of expenses that you spend your money, and you can slot them into any one of these. And so the first one is your weekly expenses. That's your food, fuel, fun, and incidentals. Incidentals being those little emergencies that are maybe $20. So that's your weekly expenses. Then we have your regular expenses that occur regularly, which include bills, birthdays, all the things that we do if we get our hair done, all those regular expenses that we do within a 12-month period. The third type of expense is things we buy, whether we need them or we want them. Okay, and so there's that. At this point is when people put their head in the sand like the ostrich, and they forget that when they buy things like a car, that it needs servicing, that it may need unexpected repairing, that it needs tires every so years, that it needs a battery. But we tend to put our head in the sand and just think, I got a good deal on this car, but we don't really plan it how much it's going to cost. Plus, we get in accidents maybe sometimes, and maybe it's our fault. Like I hit a kangaroo a few months ago, and it damaged my air conditioner. Now, he didn't have insurance, so I had to repair my car for that. Most people don't have money if they need a plumber to come in. Okay, you need plumbing. If your toilet's backed up, that's a hygiene problem. You need to have money set aside for the things that you have bought that will need repairing. Then eventually you're going to need to replace them. Okay, passports are only 10 years. Fridges don't last your whole lifetime, neither do beds and all those things. So we have to have a plan for that. Same with your transport. Okay, and then we have the last type of expense, which is once in a lifetime things. Okay, your education, buying your first home, getting married, going on holiday, retirement, those type of things that happen just once or twice in your lifetime. So these are the 6 areas that I teach how to plan for all these areas. Because again, we want to get our head out of the sand. Let's not ignore things. Let's plan for everything that's going to happen in the future. And there's nothing unexpected in life. Even death, we know we're going to die. So we need to have a plan. And when you have a plan, you're being totally honest with yourself. And then you have that peace, that financial peace. So protect your money from you. The chances of me coming or anyone coming into your home and stealing your money is very little. But the chances of you stealing your own money or sabotaging your own budget is huge. Okay? So you need to have an effective bank structure that protects your money from you. Okay? We are great sabotagers sometimes. And that's where I help people you have to keep focused on that why. You have to have a picture or a vision board. You have to remember that. I have in my card, a little card that's next to my one card that I carry with me, which is my spending card. And it asks me questions like, do you need this? Is this getting you closer or further away from your why? So every time I take that card out, it reminds me. Okay. So I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to go into great detail, but this is the effective bank structure that I teach. Now, this is in the Lady Finance Club. If you're in the membership, the pink membership, in the foundation lessons, there is a master class that I did for this. Okay. And so that will go into a lot more detail than what I have time tonight. But basically up the left hand is the 6 expense types. And if you notice these accounts, there's a number in them because it covers that. So every account has a specific purpose. If you don't have a specific purpose, then it's going to control your money. So we first of all have your FFFI. That's your weekly spending money for food, fuel, fun, and incidentals. And so we decide an amount that goes into there. And that's like the pig with the straw house. Straw's flimsy, so money goes in and out really fast. So you'll spend that money within a week or two. Okay, and that is, once it's gone, it's gone. You don't have any automatic payments coming out of this account. It's one that you can spend all the way to zero. So it gives you a boundary, because if you don't have a boundary, especially around food and fun, you can waste all your $30,000 extra on just that. So you have to keep to that, and that has a debit card attached to it. Then you have your bills account. That's for your regular, predictable expenses. And that, again, that's more than just bills. It's anything that you pay on a regular basis that occurs within a year. They might be monthly, 2 weekly bills. They might be quarterly bills. They might be an annual bill. And those all go in there. Then we have the big bad wolf. Okay, and the bill account, that's the stick house. Okay, so it's sturdier than the FFFI. It stays in there longer, so it stays in there the 12 months. And you're saving for all of those things all year round. Then we have the savings. Okay, that's the third pig who had this brick house. When you save for something, you usually save for more than a year. So that's why his was a very secure. He built up and he had that financial security. But we know about the big bad wolf. The big bad wolf came. And this account is to protect you against the big bad wolf coming into your life. It's not if he will come into your life, it's when he will come into your life. He will. And you may even think in the last month, you may even think in the last year, how the big bad wolf has come into your life and you were unprepared. And you were unprepared because the thing that happened was a basic thing that you needed. Maybe your car, maybe your fridge died, or whatever it was. If you didn't have a big bad wolf account or an emergency account, that's a type of emergency account, then you would have had two choices. One, if you luckily have savings, you would have had to take from your savings. But that's a bit depressing when you're saving for something you really want. So, or some people will put it on credit or a loan or afterpay. Okay. So those are the two choices. Sadly, most people put it on credit because they still want that. I deserve that holiday. But there again, if you don't have the money, you don't deserve anything. So the big bad wolf is like the insurance account to ensure that you're going to get what you want from your savings. Okay. So when you go on that holiday, you know that everything's taken care of. Then there's the long-term savings replacement account. Those are for the things in the next 10 years. And I want you to think, what do I have to replace that's an essential thing in the next 10 years? Like, is your car getting ready to, is it on its last legs? Do you need to replace your car? And I'm not talking about replacing your car because you just want a newer car and impress people. I'm talking to have a reliable car. And so, yeah, so the big bad wolf is to cover those costs that sustain your life. For example, if you get in a car accident and it's your fault, there's an excess. You need to pay that excess. So that would come from the big bad wolf. And the big bad wolf, we say to have at least $2,000. So you pay that excess, and yeah, and so all those things come out of there. And then once you use some of the money from your big bad wolf, then you just start replenishing it. But the big bad wolf is not, oh, those red shoes are so cute, and I've already spent my spending money. Yes, this is a real emergency. No, it's not. So we keep that account very sacred and only use it for the basic things. Oh, sorry, that's the big bad wolf. The long-term savings, sorry, that's what I was talking about, is those things you have to replace. So you know you have to replace them in the next 10 years. Let's have a plan to do that. Let's not put your head in the sand so that it comes up and you go, oh dear, poor me. No, you knew, you just tried to put it away and put your head in the sand. So honesty in what's coming up. You're going to have to spend it anyway. So it's better to plan to spend it because then you're in full control. Or when you have to spend it, then your money's in control. So that's why it's a happy spender. I love spending. I used to hate spending money at the chemist. When we had our 5 kids, someone was always sick and needed medicine and needed antibiotics. And I despised going to do that. Not that I didn't want my kid to get better. It's I never had planned for that. Now I have put money away every month for medical. Most months I don't use it, but I know that if I ever have to go to the chemist, I get to go. And I even treat myself with some sugar-free chocolate because, that's medical. And usually so I love the things that I used to hate paying for because I plan for them. That totally changes your mindset. And then the emergency fund, that is if everything goes pear-shaped, you lose your job and you need to survive on the very basic. So that's like a 3 to 6 month worth of just covering your basic costs. Okay, so that is a quick of the accounts. So I teach the spending plan software. The software in itself, like I say, I've been using for 19 years. It's only $10 a month for the software. And you can only access it through a spending planner because it's a mind shift. And so you need someone there to kind of help you through it initially and set it up. And the last thing that I want is for anybody to use anything, even if it is $10 a month for the software, and not know how to use it and just not use it. So it is a cash flow system for your personal life as well as your business. If you have a business, it's really great for that. So basically, a spending plan predicts the future and shows you how to pay your expenses. This is just one part in it, the spending plan. Once you enter in all your expenses, you enter in the amount of the expense, how frequently it happens, and then the timing comes in, as well as when is the next time you're going to spend that money. And the software does all the calculation. You never use a calculator again. And it creates this beautiful 12-month crystal ball of your future finances. And these lines are the balance at the end of that day, whether there was income or expenses, and green is good. Where we can see here in 6 months' time, ooh, we're in the red, meaning the expense wanted to come out, but you weren't going to have the money. But the good thing is it hasn't happened yet because we're planning the future. So you can put all your information, all your expenses in there, and then you can see for the next 12 months and see if it's all in the green. And if it's not, then I teach you how to adjust that. And looking at this, and I can tell you that this is not a money problem. If this was a budget, they would say it's a money problem. You lack money on these days. It's not. It's a timing problem because at the end of the year, you're in a surplus 2,200. So it's not a money problem. It's a timing problem. And that's what the spending planner really helps you do. So you create your perfect spending plan. So a spending plan is like a blueprint. When you build a house, you have someone design the blueprint or the plans of your house. And then once it's okayed by an architect, then the builders build it. That's what a spending plan is. A spending plan is creating your perfect spending life in the spending planner, just like some people have a virtual life on the computer, then they have their reality life. This is the virtual spending line. We create it and get it to work perfectly here. So we're not using real money. We're actually just doing it in here. Once it's good, then we get your actual bank accounts and financial life to follow the plan. And so you're not experimenting anymore and guessing whether you can do it, here. And so how would you feel if you knew all your bills and expenses and money that you put away for your really wants and your emergencies, as well as your long-term savings, if you knew that they were all covered for the next 12 months? How would you feel? Let me tell you, it is a great feeling. I did my spending plan 19 years ago. And since then, I have zero stress about money. And again, I was a single, a stay-at-home mom for 27 years with 5 children. And in that time, I went home to see my family at least every 2 years. So that was one of my motivations to be good with money, is I wanted to see my family. And so it has brought such peace of mind to me. I've created my plan, did it, like I said, initially created, and it doesn't take long, it can take up to even just 4 hours to create your plan. Then you just follow it. You be honest and you follow it. And then money becomes a silent partner in your life. It's not that nagging, yelling, screaming partner that brings a lot of stress. Okay, and this is the dashboard. If this was a budgeting system, which it's not, it would have said that you made $84,000, you spent $57,000, you put $25,000 into savings, you spent $24,000 on accommodation. But this is not a budget. This is a spending plan. It's all about the future. This is what you're going to do in the next 12 months from all the information you initially one time put in here. It will tell you this stuff. And so you can look and say, ooh, that's a bit much for accommodation. I think I could get a bit cheaper, because it hasn't happened yet. So you see the pitfalls before they happen. You will also know on any day of the year what any of your balances in your bank account, what the right amount should be to make sure that everything's covered. When we get a bank statement from the bank, that is not for our purposes. We see this amount, but we don't know really how much we can spend. With a spending plan, you do. So we give every dollar a job. There's money. Once you pay your essentials, there's always usually leftover money. If you don't give it a job, you will just waste it. So we give it a job so that it can do the things and get the things that we really want. Okay, so multiply your time and money by giving yourself emotional permission to invest time and money today. Like I did 19 years ago, I took some time to to put in my information once. I mean, yeah, because it's an alive plan. It's not a two-dimensional budget. So it's always living, and you're always seeing 12 months in advance. And so I did that, but it did take initial time. And now for the last 19 years, I've saved so much time because it only takes me about 10 minutes a month to do my finances, because I've already put in where I want to plan it, and I keep to that plan. And I've saved thousands and thousands, and I can't imagine how much money I've saved over the last 20 years because we've had a spending plan, because we are in control with our money. So there again, I'm a spending planner, and I give people access to the spending plan software, which is $10 a month. I literally help you create a plan. If you want, and there is Barefoot Investor and all those things, that if you want to go in and some people are good, they can just grab that and take that and do it. But a lot of us can't. We need someone to kind of help us. We have questions. And so that's what I do as a spending planner, is I help you create and start living your plan for as long as it takes you until you're confident. And then you go on, and then I just say, teach your kids, teach people how to do it. And so I take you from lack of financial knowledge to great financial knowledge. I have an online course, and that's part of my service, is I have an online course which has all the training videos and everything, but I don't just say, here's the course, good luck. Because there again, we are all planned for, and I notice that people speed read through courses and they have questions because they didn't read everything. And so, I'm here to answer questions, and then I do one-on-one so that I can look at your plan and tell you how to do, how to improve it. Okay, so again, if you haven't liked Happy Spenders Beyond Budgeting, please go there. Again, it will ask you offer you a welcome gift, and that is to the first couple modules of my full course. And that's what it looks like. That's just the first one, Money Stress to Money Success. There's 12 lessons just in that first module. So if you're interested in that, or you can just in the comments below, you can just put your email there, and I can get you access to that. So my services, I have basically 2 services. I do an 8-week course, which again, tonight we're on the 3rd one. We are talking about reducing your essential costs as well as debt, and how to reduce your debt quickly. So I will be reviewing quickly about the software, what I've taught this far, but it would be a good one, and you're more than welcome to stay on and check that out if you want. We have about, I'm not sure, there's probably going to be at least three or 4 that will be in that tonight, because I had some in my day class. As a thank you for coming, you'll get access to my intro course, and it's 30 days that you'll get access to that. And then you'll also get a 30-minute money chat with me. So you can just book, and I'll just put that in the chat. Let me find my, so that's if you want to book a 30-minute chat. There's no obligation. I'm not selling, because I don't do what I teach you. Don't let other people do to you. Okay, it's just an information session. You can answer questions, and I can tell you my services. Like I say, I have a half-day workshop, and that one is 4 hours, and we just kind of get in and do it. That is $350. And then I have my 8-week course, which is 8 weeks. You get an hour and a half workshop every week with the others. It's great having others in the class, because all shame and embarrassment goes out the door, because we've all made mistakes, but we all just want to be better. the past is the past. And then there's also some one-on-ones and things like that. So it's a great value. And if you know anyone who's under 25, they get it a discount for $297 for my 8-week course, because I'm really passionate about getting the younger ones to get them before they get into those bad habits and debt. So if you're interested in that, do that. If not else, go onto my Happy Spenders. And I do these every Tuesday at 12:30 Brisbane time and 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, just because I'm always talking to people and people want to know information. And as you can see, my voice is kind of going croaky, and then I still have an hour and a half to go. Plus I'm recovering from COVID, and I have that. This is the thing that's kind of hasn't left, is that dry, sore throat. So that is it. That's what I'm offering you. Please be curious and book a session. And like I say, we just kind of answer questions, and I can go into more detail and explain what's actually included in. But any of my services, you will recoup that money within probably the first month or two, easy. So it's a great investment, and it's something that once you learn it and you get your spending plan, you are going to be fine the rest of your life, and you're going to be more educated and smart than most people around you. Okay, I am financially weird. Many people are financially normal. I teach people to be financially weird, because people who are financially weird don't have debt. They have a plan for their spending. They have goals. They achieve their goals, and they have financial peace. Sadly, being financial normal is very normal and socially acceptable, but we don't have to accept that. We can follow our money truths and know that we can have the life we want. And the younger you are, the better you're at, so there's definitely time to get that financial piece. And it comes very quickly with the spending plan. I'm talking within the first week or two. You'll see your truth, and you'll immediately start making those mindset changes very easy. I would just love to end finishing off, and while you're doing it, people may pop in for my class, but I'd just love to hear what's something that you learned, a lesson that you learned or inspired you from tonight's presentation. So we'll start with Andrea.
Sure. Well, actually, I'm a chef, and I have a budget, because even if I want to give caviar to the kids, I can't. So of course I have to do a costing, the menu and everything. Yes. I see that, like, for example, today I was ordering, and I ordered so many things that I said, like, I need this. But then when I saw it was more than the 500, I was like, okay, probably it's too much. They never tell me, like, hey, you are spending too much, but probably if I go more than 500, they will. So I don't want that. So I start checking the order, and I start deciding, like, okay, I don't need 3 of these. I just need 1. And then next week I can order another one, and that's it. And then it's like I'm going to have the same, but it's separate. So I definitely understood how important is to manage your spending. Also, I make a table of of my expenses. And I realize I have so many that I don't use. Gym, I don't go to the gym. I actually exercise more at home. So I already cut that.
And that's free. Yeah.
And I went today, and I told them, like, hey, I'm not coming, because I'm giving you, like, it's $60 a month. And that is a lot of money that I need.
A lot of money. You times that by 12 months, that's like $720. What could you do? $720.
I pay my car insurance, and that is almost done. So instead I'm paying my car insurance. So yeah, definitely there is so many things we are spending, and it needs to be cut. It's because we have bad habits. That's it.
Exactly. And that's why, as a spending planners, I help people change those bad habits. And when we do a spending plan, we only put your basics in first so that you understand what is a basic. And before you start putting all the other stuff in, make sure that you have money going to your big bad wolf, to your long-term savings, because those are important. Thank you so much, Andrea, for sharing, and Monique.
So I think the one thing that stood out to me the most, and I'm like, oh, it's so true, is the statement you made saying to protect your money from yourself or from you. Just the analogy of, you know, someone coming in and stealing money off you in your home or whatever is so unlikely, but you're the one that's going to sabotage yourself. I'm like, it's so true.
Yes.
Yeah, all the spending, you're like, oh yeah, just tap that here and just a little bit of that there. Oh, I'll spend less next week, or oh, it's okay because I've got this event on, or I've got whatever.
Yeah.
But they're, you know, not planning for that, and yeah, not. I think having that budget with everything set out so you know what's for what and that you have that surplus there. Go ahead and spend that, but then know where to draw the line. Yeah, so that really stood out for me.
Yeah, we are our worst enemy. And quickly, because I just realized that this isn't the Zoom link that my course is coming in on, so they're probably wondering where I am. So, Corey, what insights did you get?
That there's something that exists, a spending plan. I didn't know that everyone says budgeting, but not a spending plan. I didn't know anything about that at all.
So I would recommend
to
book a session with me. Like I said, there's no obligation. It's just information, and you can ask some more questions on that.
Oh, one thing I did know, I missed that bit about where the emergency fund falls into, or is that the big bad wolf?
The emergency fund is if you lose your job.
Right.
I'm just going to have to message these people.
And that's under number 5, the long-term savings.
So that's what we cover in the course, and that's what. But yeah, I can kind of go over that if you book a session. But yeah, that is the basic foundation, is to find your things ordered. But if you're in money finance membership, go in and find my course. That there's a master class on that. And we'll just finish off with Anna. What was your takeaway?
Thanks so much. I think having a plan for some of the things that I would have in the past thought were unexpected that are actually expected, like repairs or replacements of things that I don't usually plan for or budget for. So I think that's a big sort of, and just to be able to plan for things in the future a bit better with, I think planning for things that actually are expected rather than thinking that they're just things that pop up without a plan.
And we play the victim. Oh no, this happened to me, where it's like, of course, things break down or things need repairing. And also planning the fun things. It's a spending plan, so you can put in what you want to do for your really wants. Where usually a budget is just the things you have to do. We want to put in things that we want to do. So anyway, I'm going to have to love and leave you there so I can get into my course. But if you want the link, I'll actually put the link in here. You're more than welcome to join and listen on. And it is, there it is. So if you want to click that before I log out, you're more than welcome to join in. That goes for the next 90 minutes, but you can come as long as you want and even maybe just see the other students. So thank you for coming. Again, I do these on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. And so if you've thought of anyone, I'd like to, or even see it again, then feel free to book in another one. And everything's advertised on Happy Spenders Beyond Budgeting. So make sure you like that. And again, book me in for a session to have just a money chat. Okay. So thank you so much, and we will see you and hopefully talk to you soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you. Bye.